Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third annual Poly Awards, hosted live from ZeroSpace in Brooklyn, New York City. I'm your virtual red carpet host, Sophia Moshasha, and today I'll be speaking with an accomplished roster of guests before we begin our show. You might have heard of our first guest. He's best known for being Julie's husband, a DJ, entrepreneur, and innovator, Mr. Alan Smithson. Welcome, Alan. He is the co-founder of one of our presenting partners, MetaVRse. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Sophia. I am super excited to be here for the red carpet ceremony of what promises to be one of the best award shows of the year, the Polys. Very excited. Thanks for having me.
Well, who else but you to have as our first in-person red carpet guest?
I'm blushing. Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm just thrilled and honored to be here.
You were our year one ambassador, and last year you were presented Entertainment Experience of the Year.
And now I've been relegated to the red carpet like some sort of celebrity influencer.
Oh, but are you not, Alan? You know why you were given the honor of being my first guest at the Poly's red carpet.
Well, is that because I'm here to thank the entire community, the entire industry, who's been so supportive not only of the Polys, but recognizing the makers in this space, the ones who are driving the movement, this movement to make the web immersive. And as you said, Sophia, this is our third year, and we're gonna make it more than just a remote production. We're actually doing this live here in Brooklyn, New York, and we're doing it live from this crazy stage that makes me feel like I'm in a giant TV.
That's because this is a giant TV, Alan.
It's awesome. Well, most of the content that you see here is actually projected on this LED volumetric screen here, but it's also shot in WebXR, which is cool because we're not just here to pontificate and showcase the nominated projects, but to also demonstrate that the immersive content is the medium of the future. The Polys is the award to recognize this medium, and we're proud to shine a light on this era of media history. We're living through it right now, and to put a face to the name and the name of the Git repository of the heroes of our time, the creators, the developers, and the makers, the Polys are being presented tonight by PowerSimple with support from MetaVRse, obviously, VArtisans, 3Pound XR, Cozzi and Christie for designing the beautiful world, VRM virtual reality marketing, and of course, XR Women. And this spectacular event could not be possible without this incredible venue here. So thank you to our friends at ZeroSpace, Elena, Piech, James Tunick, and their entire crew in this beautiful space here in Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for ZeroSpace. A special thank you to each and every one of you for being here in the studio and out there in the interwebs, in 3D and in 2D. Stay with us here. We've got a great show for you.
So Alan, we also invited you here to make a special announcement. Let's hear about it.
So thank you so much. As presenting sponsor of the Polys, I want to just say that we're here to make an announcement that Metaverse Engine 2.0, we've been working on it for the last 2 years with one mission, Metaverse creation for everyone. That is our mission, and we're going to be releasing Metaverse 2.0 to the public at AWE this year in June, so I'm going to make that announcement here. But one other thing that's super exciting, and you're going to hear it here first. We're announcing the mall. We've been working on this thing called the mall. It's the world's largest virtual mall. It's 100 stories tall, and each floor is 1 million square feet. So at 100 million square feet, this is the world's largest virtual mall, and it'll be opening in April, and I'm very excited. If you go to themall.io, you can sign up and get early access. So I'm very excited. It's all built on our Metaverse engine. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. That is incredible. 1 million square feet and 100 floors of mall, I'm sure is anyone's dream come true.
Shopping.
Well, we have Briar Prestidge joining us all the way from Dubai. Thank you so much for joining us, Briar.
Amazing.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Briar, come here. Give me a hug. I'm so glad you're here. I actually spent some time watching your video. You made a video where you spent 48 hours in VR. And like, think about that, 48 hours in VR. I get through an hour and I'm kind of woozy. That is some dedication to the cause. So amazing, amazing. If you haven't seen 48 hours in VR, I strongly recommend that you go check it out. What a commitment.
Yeah, so spending 48 hours in the metaverse certainly was very, very challenging, but an amazing experience. And I think the beautiful part is there are so many people today here that I met as avatars throughout my experience. So yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for being so warm and welcoming and, introducing me to all of their fantastic worlds.
Briar, Sophia, you guys are in great hands. I'm going to take it, leave you here. Congratulations.
Thanks,
amazing.
Alan.
So Briar, you are presenting WebXR Platform of the Year for us, and that's because of all the extensive in-world hopping you did making your documentary 48 Hours in the Metaverse. What was the moment when you realized the social significance of the Metaverse that inspired you to make this truly novel documentary?
So I went into this experiment feeling very curious and not too sure about what I was going to expect, Sophia. And instantly, it was about 10 a.m. in the morning. My team and I had locked ourselves in a hotel room. We had the camera set up, and I went to Old Space around the fire pits. And within the first 10 minutes, although I didn't know how to work the controllers or anything like this, I met a friendly avatar, and he showed me how to work it, and he introduced me to a whole bunch of people. And he was in the US and I was in Dubai. And I was like, wow, he's probably sitting there in his PJs, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, and we're making friends. So already I saw just how quickly I would enjoy the social aspect, which was something I was not expecting. And over the course of my adventures, I traveled to 33 virtual worlds across many different platforms, and I spoke to 21 different thought leaders, and I saw all different wonderful ways in which the metaverse or virtual reality was working. I went to Helen's beautiful cafe, the Four Mothers Cafe, and I had a virtual coffee with her, which was absolutely amazing. I went to Glue, and I saw how Rocket VR is using virtual reality to support people who are currently undergoing chemotherapy. So yeah, there were so many wonderful things.
That's wonderful. And I know you follow closely about what's going on in technology. So what do you think is the most important trend right now as it relates to XR?
So I'm very curious about artificial intelligence and, augmented reality and, just as well how we're going to keep persevering and keep understanding more about these virtual platforms. Like, we cannot deny it. The younger generation are growing up as digital natives. Spending time on Roblox for them is just as natural as being on Facebook, like it is for us. So, I'm continuing to explore everything, and just, I think that's my message to everybody at the end of the day, is just to stay curious and to participate, which all of you wonderful people definitely do.
Absolutely. And so what can we expect next from you, Briar? I know you have a lot cooking right now.
Yeah, so today we just started filming my next documentary, which is exploring my journey on becoming a cyborg and transhumanism. I don't know what to expect. I'm certainly curious and a little bit nervous and very excited, but I'm sure it's going to be just like the experience I had with 48 Hours in the Metaverse. I'm going to walk away with so much rich information and, very excited about what's to come in the future.
That's amazing, Briar. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we wish you luck on your next documentary. I can already tell it's going to be great because you started here with us today, so thank you.
I did. Thank you so much, everybody.
So now we're going to head over to our volumetric capture stage to have some great conversations with some special guests. I'll see you soon. Hi everyone, it's me again, and welcome to the Scatter stage. I'm excited to welcome James George, who is the co-founder of Scatter. This is empowering our ability to be volumetrically transported to the virtual world that we're all in right now.
That's right.
So amazing. So James, tell us about the setup we're in now and how this technology works.
Thank you so much, Sophia. So I'm James George, co-founder and CEO at Scatter, and we're here in Scatter's headquarters at ZeroSpace in Brooklyn, and we're actually standing inside of our product, DepthKit Studio. So DepthKit Studio is the world's most widely used tool for creating volumetric video human holograms. And what are those? Well, that you're seeing us as volumetric video human holograms right now. So we're presenting to you from a virtual world, and you saw the camera fly through. You'll see a lot more of that to come tonight. And so we're surrounded by cameras that you can't see because they're in the real world. And so why would you want to use volumetric video, you may ask? Well, if you're a creator of interactive 3D experiences, volumetric video allows you to add real people or characters to your experiences to breathe life into your stories in a way that is cheaper, faster, and more compelling than traditional animation and motion capture for real life people. So that's the heart of the matter.
Absolutely, and I know volumetric brings so much more impact to immersive experiences. So what do you see as the future uses of volumetric capability?
Great question. So today we have a lot of customers who are doing things that are extremely exciting with DepthKit Studio now. So just to name a few, they're creating Emmy award-winning experiences featuring real people in virtual reality. They're creating corporate communications within large enterprises, simulation and training. That's all happening right now with the technology. But you're asking about the future. I can see a future where the technology becomes more and more accessible. Imagine being able to create what you're seeing now with your phone. And then with that, we'll be able to actually step inside and relive our memories in a spatial way. And I think that accessibility is going to make so much exciting creativity come to life in this medium.
Yeah, it's super exciting and so powerful. And thank you, James. Your technology is truly impressive, and I look forward to the rest of the show and seeing what else we can produce in this stage.
Great. Well, we have a special announcement coming later, so stay tuned, and there's a lot more exciting conversations. So thank you so much, Sophia.
Thank you, James. There's one here. So next, I am honored to welcome Elena Piech, who coordinated this whole effort on behalf of ZeroSpace. I want to thank you so much for your incredible partnership to pull off this effort and truly novel awards show. Thank you so much. And for those who aren't familiar, just tell us a little bit about what you do here at ZeroSpace.
Yeah, sure thing. ZeroSpace, we're a real-time 3D content creation studio, and right now in our Studio A space, we have a motion capture stage, an LED virtual production stage, and then we also have Scatter's R&D stage. For those who are watching the stream right now, we have a studio audience in front of our LED stage, and then literally a curtain, and then behind that curtain, we have here the Scatter stage. And so it's awesome that we're bringing all of these different technologies together, and in what I think is the first award show to use volumetric capture all in real time.
So awesome. So that's amazing. I'm super proud and honored to be a part of that. So thank you for helping that come alive, making that come alive. So what is an emerging technology that's coming up that you're looking forward to incorporating in the work that you're doing here?
I think just like how Briar was talking about looking into the future, I'm really excited to do more work with virtual avatars and virtual humans and virtual worlds and really be in places that wouldn't be physically possible to be at otherwise.
And we are too, which is exactly why we're doing this here today. So thank you so much, Elena, and we look forward to the rest of the show and being part of it.
Yeah, sure thing. Good luck to all the nominees. I'll step in the portal and get out of here.
Bye. So next up, we are going to introduce Ivo Heyning, who's going to be joining us. We give out 3 honors during our annual Poly Awards, and Ivo is being honored for an honor for community because she has done a lot over the course of her career in XR to bring knowledge and education and community to this industry. So most of us in this industry know her for all the incredible work that she has done. There she is. Hi, Ivo.
Microphone is working. Hi, yes. Great to see you, Sophia.
Yes, so we can hear you very well. Thank you so much for joining us. Near and far, we're glad to have you. That's the whole point of virtual and why we're doing what we do. So congratulations so much on your honor for community. You've been doing so much in XR for a long time, but in the past 2 years, as the adoption of VR has been on the ascent, you've been right there in the heart of the most influential moments towards standards and interoperability in the metaverse. The 3 major initiatives that you've had a leadership role in and are being honored for today are XR Guild, the Open Metaverse Interoperability Group, and MetaTraversal. Tell us how each of these initiatives is important to the entire XR ecosystem.
Sure. So I've been in what we've called the Open Metaverse through virtual worlds and then AR for 17 years. And those communities have been vital to my growth, to my learning, to my sense of belonging in the world, and have been the place where I have found the most rich engagement in terms of social impact and building communities that matter. And so when Mr. Metaverse and Robert Long came to me and said, let's start open metaverse interoperability in 2021, beginning of 2021 now, we're about to have our 100th week of celebrating OMI as a community. And that rich space for research, development, and exploration has changed the way that we engage. And so whether it's exploring AR, exploring 3D objects and NeRFs, exploring interoperability of avatars and metatraversal, specifically being a part of these experiences with you, with Ben, with Julie, with everyone through these communities has meant so much, not only to the agreements we're making, but in how we choose to work step in step together to create these open spaces where we can all collaborate, where we can all thrive. So I've been excited to work with so many of you. If I haven't worked with you yet, I look forward to that time where we can collaborate. And to all of my friends who've made the work possible, whether it's at OMI, XR Guild, Metatraversal, and all of those events, I'm just so grateful for all of your efforts as we create this space together.
Thank you, Ivo. And you're also a true leader in generative AI prompt engineering. You're forming a new studio called Reality Craft and setting up workshops to teach this emerging skill. There's a lot of hype about AI right now due to the success of ChatGPT and other platforms like Midjourney, DALL-E, Luma, and Stable Diffusion. Can you tell us why prompt engineering is an important skill and how it will continue to become increasingly important in the world of XR and the metaverse?
I believe that we are all creators, that we all have creative capacity within us, and we are always refining both the language and the process by which we decide to make artwork. So whether it's informed by an ancient process of making physical media or the things we do in the metaverse today, XR is often informed by artistic process throughout history. So when I'm working with generative media and with prompt craft, with writing, it's also informed by everything we've learned about what it means to be a creator, not just making worlds or making a fantastic experience in XR, but bringing something to life that speaks to our culture, that speaks to the worlds we want to create, and that gives us space to maybe explore something new within us together. So I love teaching prompt craft specifically because I think it can open us up to our own creative potential collectively and individually.
I totally agree, and we thank you for your work and everything that you're doing for our community. Thank you again, Ivo. We hope you enjoy the rest of the show, and congratulations on your honor.
Thank you so much. Take care, Sophia.
All right, and next we have Sean Mann. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Hi, Sophia.
Sean is the founder of RP1, an incredible platform, and welcome to the show, Sean. I'd love for you to tell the audience a little bit more about that.
Well, thank you for bringing me here, Sophia. This is an amazing occasion. I think everyone thinks about the metaverse and the idea that everyone can come together in both social and business events. And I think it's super important to figure out how do you solve for scale, really bringing everyone on the planet together the same way that you open up, let's say, a web browser and you can instantly connect to any website. How do you instantly connect to many different activities and have social connection no matter where anyone is on the planet? And for that to happen, it's going to take a new way of doing scale. And we created a new kind of paradigm in network architecture that will help drive the cost to make it super inexpensive and easy for everyone to connect to any application and all running on the web. Which is, I think, why we're all here. The web is definitely the future of real-time applications. So super excited.
I would love for you to tell our audience how they can get involved in the work that you're doing and experience it.
Yeah, so we did the first demo, which I was really lucky to have you in there, where we put 4,000 people using a single server and really to go in and out of like a 1 square kilometer space. And really what we're looking to have is developers to come in and start using our platform to actually build these special environments and different real-time applications. We're actually doing a really public demo at AWE where we're going to have 100,000 people in something that's much larger than our universe. And we're hoping to get developers to start baiting our technology where they can actually start building any experience they want and deploy it on the web. So they can reach out to us on Discord or at AWE. We'll have more public announcements where everyone can join and be a part of the growth of what we're doing.
Awesome, Sean. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We hope you enjoy the rest of it.
So exciting. You're doing an awesome job. This is great.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Next, we have on Gheric Speiginer. Bye, Sean. Hi, Gheric. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Welcome, Gheric. Tell us a little bit about what you do for people that don't know you in the audience.
Yeah. So I build Ethereal engine. We're creating immersive social spaces for anybody to host on their own domain, and we're doing all sorts of things in VR and AR.
That's so awesome. Okay, so you said all sorts of things in VR and AR, and I know Ethereal engine is doing a lot, and you've been honored with a lot of nominations in the polys this year. So congratulations on that. Can you talk a little bit about the experiences that are being nominated this year?
Well, we have a lot of interesting things we've built, including a golf game called Putt Club. It's a AR and VR social WebXR game, and we have a volumetric performance concert. It's about a 45-minute long performance with a bunch of different really good artists, also in VR and AR. And it's all built on Ethereal engine, which is open source and free for anybody to use.
That's awesome. I know you guys have been doing a lot to power the creators in this space in WebXR. So we thank you for everything that you're doing, and congratulations on all the nominations this year. You guys are doing incredible work.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we have a lot of really cool stuff for you guys. We have shopping mall, we have treehouse, tons of really cool things to check out. So, just go to, we're really excited to be able to share with everybody all the really great things we're doing.
We'll show clips during the awards ceremony on the nomination, so people will get to see some of the work that is powered by Ethereal engine. So thank you again, Gheric, and we look forward to seeing those clips and enjoying the rest of the show. Have a good one.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, and now let's turn to the guests who couldn't join us live. We have Damon Hernandez with us today from the XR Guild. Welcome to the Polys, Damon. It is so good to see you.
Thank you for having me here. It's an amazing thing to be involved with.
You're an early proponent of 3D on the web when it was called Web 3D. Tell us about what led you to recognize the importance of this emerging medium long before we had WebXR spec to build with.
Web 3D was an interest to me mainly because I read Snow Crash in '99. And then when I looked at what is the closest thing that we have, to getting us there, that is the most open, in my opinion, it is the web. And so that's where I kind of made that shift to looking at Web 3D as a medium for really building more engaging experiences and also for education.
3 of your XR Guild colleagues and board members are part of the show. Avi Bar-Zeev is passing the mantle of Ombudsperson to Brittan Heller, and Ivo Heyning is being honored for her work across the community. Would you like to give them some shout outs for their accomplishments?
Brittan Heller's work at the intersection of law, technology, and human rights, I feel, is critical to what we're all making. I've learned so much from her, and definitely as someone who's more focused on the built environment side of things, there's a lot of opportunity, I think, for those of us that I guess aren't focused too much on what's best for people, just because of what our area of focus is on, to look at people like Brittan and to follow her work. So I highly encourage anyone to look at what she's doing, watch her lectures, and I'm just so thankful that she's a part of the industry. And in addition to that, Ivo as well is someone I've known for many years, who always blows my mind with what she's able to do as a creative. with technology. And so both of these women are people that I really admire and look up to for what they do in the community in their own ways.
And for those who don't know, what is XR Guild? What is it trying to accomplish, and how can people interested in this topic join?
So the XR Guild is a collection of people who really care about ethics and how that plays a part in the development of XR software, hardware, experiences, and really the whole spectrum. And so big thanks to Avi for really spearheading this initiative that's grown to hopefully help people, even like myself, who are looking at how do we really build, ethical solutions, and again have the user's best intentions in mind. So I highly recommend people join the Discord server. That's probably the best if you go to xrguild.org. It is a great community of people that really represent a diverse spectrum and background. So for those that do care about ethics and how do we make the very best technology and experiences going forward, I guess I would say, I'm a little biased, but I would say it's where to be.
We have the amazing Spatial Fusion team here today. Thank you guys so much for coming on and speaking with me today.
Really grateful to be part of the show, and yeah, fingers crossed for the big results. We'll wait with bated breath.
So let's discuss the start and the why of Spatial Fusion.
But yeah, the project kicked off. We were initially connected with some of the Meta WebXR team. Actually, in 2021, we did a WebXR project around the Paralympics, and then it flowed into the imminent release of the Quest Pro featuring the mixed reality pass-through software. And so Ollie got in touch with us and had been working on a few concepts around some ideas to shape up a story that brought your environment to life. And yeah, we then started conceiving what really then led to Spatial Fusion as a whole new WebXR mixed reality experience.
I think, there's a few ideas floating around, and one of them was this idea of, I was thinking about, how NASA sends spaceships like Voyager, etc., to do gravity slingshots around planets and things like that. And I think that was the kind of genesis of the idea. But it didn't really have any sort of playability or shape or form until I took it to Phoria, and Ryan was able to actually just make it go from this to this, which is amazing.
You put in awesome Easter eggs throughout the experience, like the bottle of baby rays. What was the cow all about?
You're always seeing cows getting abducted, and we just those cows have to end up somewhere. I guess they're all floating around in space, so.
Yeah, that famous cow that gets sucked up from, those UFOs. We thought it'd be funny to put that in there. We were thinking about having it life scale, but then if you had a small room, you'd have just a giant cow in your mixed reality space. So we made that smaller.
After the adventure of creating this demo, what technologies are you most excited to continue exploring?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an incredibly exciting time, not to mention even what's happening in the AI space at the moment. I guess, as a studio, we really try and center around how immersive technology can be used as an instrument for good. And I think more recently, we see XR as a means to connect people more deeply with places and cultures, whether it be for greater accessibility, maybe for those that aren't privileged to travel around the world, say, get across to Australia, or maybe it be for preservation, so sites that are maybe being desecrated through climate change and things along those lines. And so we just see there's so much promise and potential in how we can really put these tools to good use. Can we actually use, these instruments as a means to bring people, say, from the UN General Assembly, into a community on the other side of the world that is calling for help? And so there's so much, I think, potential in that space, and it's something that we really center around as a studio. And so there's a lot of really good things kind of in the pipe at the moment, and it's exciting because I think really comes back to these mediums serve a means to better connect us with the natural world, kind of open our mind and senses in some really beautiful ways.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today on the red carpet. Congratulations on your nominations, and we hope you enjoy the show. Daniel Adams is joining us today on the Poly's red carpet, and he's a developer at Zesty and the founder of the WebXR Discord. Daniel, congratulations on your nomination as Developer of the Year.
Thank you. It's an honor.
The WebXR Discord server you founded and admin has become the de facto community hub for WebXR developers. It supports an impressive who's who of developers in this space, including many celebrated here at the Polys. How did you come to recognize the need for this server? How did it grow to what it is today?
I found out about WebXR. I think it was through Mozilla's Hello WebXR experience. I saw it, and then I had my headset hooked up, and then I was like, oh, I can just do this in a web browser. That's really cool. And so then I started, of course, looking for communities and whatnot. Okay, there doesn't seem to be a spot where everyone's congregating, so maybe I'll just make a Discord server for that. And so that's exactly what I did.
From your insight into the mind of the community, what support from the industry does WebXR need most right now to continue to thrive?
I'd say that to thrive, the thing that I feel like really needs to thrive is just more sources of content that are going to draw in, the average user. When you look at sort of where things are right now, just sort of browsing the Meta new tab page, a lot of it is solo games by developers, maybe a couple e-commerce things, but there's you look at some of the most popular VR apps that are out there for native, and there really aren't many analogs to that in the WebXR space right now, at least from my perspective. Really, content is sort of the name of the game in terms of letting WebXR thrive.
You work for Zesty, which is nominated for Innovator of the Year and helping to pioneer web-based immersive advertising. Tell us how Zesty is helping WebXR creators monetize their experiences.
Yeah, so for those that might be unfamiliar, Zesty basically offers a way to serve sort of your traditional banner ads, but within a virtual space. So you could really make them billboard ads if you wanted to. Basically, you choose where you want to put it, and then you create a listing on the Zesty marketplace where advertisers can then bid for that space, and then you get analytics, and the revenue is pretty decent for even not a small time developer. I've seen small developers make a few hundred a month, fairly quickly.
So we are very grateful for everything that you're doing for the community. Thank you, and congratulations on your nominations. I'm joined here today by Benjamin Dupuy, who's the creator of Prehistoric Domain. Benjamin, congratulations on Prehistoric Domain's nominations for Education Experience and Experience of the Year. Your experience is particularly well executed, where you built the dinosaur zoo we've always wanted to visit. We can tell by the result that you're very passionate about this. So tell us about your inspiration to create Prehistoric Domain.
It was a childhood dream to be able to visit kind of Jurassic Park. But also I wanted to be most authentic and accurate with the most accurate experience possible. So that we can see and learn real elements and in the same time find the balance between entertainment and learning. And I was inspired by a lot of documentary and also a lot of collaborators that helped me to find the correct information, more exhibits.
One of the outstanding features of this experience is the sound. Please give us insights on how you build out this sonic experience in WebXR.
I did a lot of sound mixing. I used a lot of assets for 2D elements as well as for sound design. And after that, I rework the assets. I combine some things to try to find, we can say the accurate way, I think, a balance, still a balance between the accurate way to have the correct sound for this animal.
So what are your plans from here? Are you planning to continue to expand the experience, or are there new projects that you're planning?
I wanted to push the project that way so we can explore as much as possible the realism within the web of being part of kind of Jurassic Park, but with a strong learning part, as strong as we can. It's today small. I think it's good base, but I want to have a more educational part in the future.
That's awesome, Benjamin. We're so looking forward to other work that you put out, and congratulations again on your 2 nominations for Education Experience and Experience of the Year.
I wanted to thank, big thanks to all who contribute to this organization, this event, because it allowed to shed light on all these talented people and projects. It's very important for all of us, and for me, it's a great opportunity. I'm so happy to be here. So yeah, thank you for all of that first, and for all what you do with this organization.
All right, we have another honoree with us here today, Miss Brittan Heller. And she's going to come on live on Zoom here soon. And we're so honored to have her. She has done some incredible work in safety in the metaverse, which a lot of us overlook now because we're so excited about all the incredible things that XR can do for us. But she is doing some amazing work to help us plan for the future and plan for a safe and fruitful future with XR. Great, now let's move on to Brittan Heller, our 2023 Ombudsperson of the Year. Welcome, Brittan.
I'm Brittan Heller, thank you for having me here.
So nice to have you. How do you think your past work in human rights, like winning the first cyber harassment lawsuit back in 2007, has defined what you do today?
Maybe a close one?
I think that the type of work that I've done really prepared me to work in XR, because previously I was working in realms where there weren't any precedent. They were brand new issues in international law and in human rights law. And the type of work that I'm doing today really focuses on bringing together all of these disparate communities, legal communities, academics, companies, and creators, and trying to get us all on the same page about what is important in building virtual worlds.
So when you started your work, you said people weren't listening at that time, but now there's a whole community and departments focusing on these topics. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel excited. I don't like being the only person in the room. So I was able to put on a conference at Stanford back in January, and we had 150 people show up, which was really remarkable because the first event that I put on with the legal and human rights community back in 2017, I think we had 3 people show up.
Wow, well, you did really impressive and important work in XR, visualizing how hate crimes changed over the pandemic. What is your proudest accomplishment? I know there's so many.
No, I think the thing that I'm the most proud of isn't actually a professional accomplishment. It's getting my 101-year-old grandmother into a headset.
Yeah,
and listening to her reaction about how she said it was one of the highlights of her life to be able to be on the bottom of the ocean and swimming with the fish and looking whales in the eye. It underscored for me how transformative and powerful this could be.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very rewarding to be a part of the evolution of the future and what will be commonly known to the world very, very soon. So thank you for your work that you're doing in providing safety and foresight for the metaverse and how we use and access and transfer data in the metaverse and all of those things. So we're lucky to have someone like you advocating for safety in the metaverse.
Thank you very much.
So next up, we have Robin Moulder, the CEO and founder of 3 Pound XR. Hi, Robin. So
good
Sophia.
to see you. Great to be here.
So Robin, you're one of our and have worked with us to produce this fantastic show. I'm curious to hear why you thought this was an important initiative for you to work on for the industry.
Great question. Web3 technologies have grown up from the backbone of the internet and are the building blocks and foundational layer of how business interact. In the metaverse, we're making incredible advancements in human interfaces, spatial audio, deep, rich experiences. WebXR is the critical layer pushing the boundaries in every direction. We're all working toward the same goal, bringing the physical world and the digital worlds together as we forge the future.
So you do a lot of work in building deep, rich experiences, as you just mentioned. Tell us about some of the work that you're producing now.
Absolutely. 3Pound XR helps companies that are serious about creating real value in the metaverse by building out their essential infrastructure, creative technology, product, and distribution solutions that will position them for short and long-term success. We are launching an immersive ecosystem to help the next generation of developers and world builders using our solid foundation of platforms, products, and procedures. 3Pound XR is making a metaverse solution accessible for everybody.
Thank you again, Robin, and we're honored to have you on the Polly's team.
Thank you
Enjoy
so
the
much.
rest of the show. Thank you. All right, there's the portal. Bye. All right, next up, I want to welcome my dear friend, Deborah Worrell of Virtual Reality Marketing. Hi, Deb. Nice to see you. So, virtual reality marketing puts a lot of emphasis on community building, hosting one of the largest XR community groups on LinkedIn called Reality Innovators Network. So why do you think community and network in this industry is important?
So for most people, the metaverse is new, exciting, overwhelming, and filled with potential. I mean, just compare where we were today.
Hosting one of the largest XR community groups on LinkedIn called Reality Innovators Network. So why do you think community and network in this industry is important?
So for most people, the metaverse is new, exciting, overwhelming, and filled with potential. I mean, just compare where we were today to where we were 20 years ago with the first days of the internet. We had no idea back then how things would morph into where we are today. So building community is important to help people embrace the metaverse. You have to get them to love it and to create network effects. More people that use the tech, and they do it because they use the tech.
Yeah.
So network effects work. We help guide people and companies to the immersive solutions that are right for them. So for example, we host monthly networking events in the metaverse, which provide a lot of great information for people, but it also allows them to meet with other people in the metaverse where they never would in real life.
I never would have. It's a global community, which is awesome. So, okay, so what do you see as the biggest hurdle that XR developers and studios have when taking their products and services to market?
I'm so glad you asked me that because this is my favorite topic. Business executives understand that the metaverse will create value. I mean, just look at digital transformation. And they want to be a part of it. But the challenge is very much like, where do I start? Who can I trust? You know, what do I do next? So the bigger the project, and that's the bigger the budget, the more important it is to get it right. So creating immersive content is a very specific skill set. And people have different ideas about what they want in a metaverse experience. Clients and developers don't always speak the same language, to say the least. And VRM is uniquely positioned to solve that problem with our expertise, our resources, and our community, back to community. We're thrilled to be helping our clients build stellar metaverse strategies and connect with the best immersive partners for them. And that's a lot of the people who are here today.
That's absolutely correct. And we're so happy to have you a partner of the Polly's, and thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you.
All right. Our next special guest is Mark Lambert, CEO and founder of VArtisans. Show. I mean, you guys are the magic behind the scenes, so we really appreciate everything that you've done. Welcome, Mark.
Oh, thanks. It's great to be here. It's amazing to be on this stage.
It really is. So, Mark, you have over 30 years heading up visual development on feature films like Polar Express, Narnia, and Harry Potter, which is super impressive, and I'm personally super jealous. But I would love to hear what that journey has been like for you.
You know, I was always sort of at the bleeding edge of technology and building technology. You know, every part of it, we had to figure out what a Quidditch field would look like, and that was my team. But even before that, I was building open world environments back in 1990. I did one of the first virtual humans in 1994. That's over 30 years ago. Let's cut forward though to like 2015, because we were so far ahead that it was so hard. It was $100,000 machines back then that we were building on. 2015, the technology caught up, and I founded VArtisans to start to get back into that virtual world. I loved feature films, but I love XR even more. And we've been having a blast with everything that we're doing with VArtisans.
I'm sure you are. And I also heard you filmed on top of the Burj Khalifa. What was that like?
Yeah, that's so the world's tallest building, and there's only 50 people that were ever allowed to go up there other than their employees. We were doing a virtual experience for their world, and it's a pretty amazing thing. We've actually filmed in 26 countries around the world. So I've climbed mountains and filmed mountain worlds. I've done documentaries in Lithuania and Thailand, Myanmar, all over. So we do a lot of 360 video. That's been exciting. But we also have been doing some more things in sort of the WebXR and the free roam space.
And after all of those experiences, you just said you're developing in WebXR 2, which is amazing to hear. What has that process been like?
Yes. So a friend of mine is on the board at the Poe Museum in Richmond. And we started talking to them about doing a virtual museum for Edgar Allan Poe. And I have to say that 2 months ago, we did a preview of that to 600 people, and we're moving forward. And we did decide very specifically to do that in WebXR.
And we're happy you did too. And we look forward to seeing that, Mark. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon in the Metaverse.
Sounds good.
Bye, Mark. There he goes in the portal. Love it. Now let's welcome my good friend Neil Redding. Hi, Neil. So good to see you.
Hi, Sophia. Good to see you again.
Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. So Neil and I recently spoke on stage together at IGS regarding the power that immersive technology offers for togetherness and a feeling of heightened sense of presence, right?
Yes.
And we both believe that is one of the most important parts about this technology. So tell us more about how you're exploring presence in your own work, and particularly how WebXR plays a role in strengthening the capability to bring presence and togetherness to the masses.
Sure thing. Yeah. So when we were on stage, actually with Monica, back in December in Miami, we were talking about presence, and just after that, I joined this company, Alki Labs, which I think many of you have heard of, which is really focused on creating shared augmented reality, building on this really groundbreaking decentralized spatial computing protocol. But shared augmented reality is really about, for the first time, as far as I can tell, as far as I know, being able to create digital objects that could be right here that you and I could each experience as if they're physically present with us. Again, kind of for the first time, most mobile augmented reality is just single player, it's kind of isolating, but we feel that this is really the key for augmented reality becoming mainstream, that it becomes part of our shared real world, that digital objects are real. And so bringing it back to presence, we actually feel like this is, it can actually be a solution to people feeling disconnected and out of touch or even lonely. Like it's going beyond what Pokemon Go and Niantic have done to bring people into the physical world, but also creating this sense of being present with digital objects together. So presence as an augmented reality experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're getting closer and closer to that, especially with what we're standing in right now, this volumetric capture rig being streamed live into an immersive world. So how would this capability open new doors to the power of immersive presence?
Yeah, I mean, volumetric specifically. Yeah, I think I've been really excited. I've known James George for a number of years with Scatter, and just been following along really closely because it feels like volumetric specifically is It always reminds me of that first time that I saw in one of the Star Wars prequels, where the Jedi Council is meeting in this circle, and they're Jedi that are physically present, and then those that are holographically present. This is kind of a North Star, for where we're trying to go with being able to make people feel volumetrically, holographically present, when they're not physically there, right? And that's a key element, of course, of presence, because there's no going back. We are going to continue to communicate in real time at distance, and we want that to feel real. So I think volumetric is a big part of it. I know I didn't answer the WebXR part of the question earlier. What we're building at Alki Labs is, so far, it's really leveraging, the LiDAR and the inherent capabilities of these high-end phones, but we're actually looking really closely, and we think in the next few months we're going to have announcements to make around supporting this shared augmented reality in WebXR in a browser on phones as well. So we feel like this is a big year for all this technology.
It is, and I think lots of projects are going to be heading that way, to this open, interoperable metaverse, the concept of that. So we look forward to seeing what you guys do.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks so
Neil.
much, Sophia.
Have a good one. All right. So I am honored to welcome Mr. Patrick Cozzi, who is joining us here in person. Welcome, Patrick.
Hi, great to see you.
Great to see you again, Patrick. So you are receiving the Lifetime Achievement honor for your work as an original spec editor for GLTF. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's such a surprise and such an honor for GLTF.
Absolutely, well deserved. I mean, Brandon Jones has named you as his successor for this award because having an open and ubiquitous model format is foundational to the success of WebXR. And the Poly itself is in GLTF, so we're proud to be presenting you an award in a format that you helped create. So awesome. So tell us a little bit about the original vision to make GLTF the open standard for models on the immersive web.
Sure. So if you go back to around 2011 at the early days of WebGL, we needed a format that was at home on the web, that was very efficient for runtime use, was very well documented, was very easy to validate, could run on your phone as well as on a VR headset. And that's really the original genesis for it. And today, as we move forward and compute becomes more powerful, our users want higher and higher quality. So the need for something that's always runtime efficient, I think, will always be there.
Yeah, absolutely. At Cesium, you've made that platform open and interoperable, and you and Mark Petit host the Building the Open, the Metaverse podcast, which is incredible. This is so important because of the proprietary nature of investment in the ecosystem right now. So for people less familiar, what would you say to decision makers?
First, Mark and I are having such a great time with the Building the Open Metaverse podcast. We're on season 4 and we're learning so much from all the guests that we're bringing on. In terms of openness, I mean, think back to the early days of the web. If you go back to the 90s, and you had Prodigy, CompuServe, AOL, and they all created some level of success and some level of value for their users. But then think how the open internet came with HTML, HTTP, FTP, and that enabled bigger businesses, more success. It enabled things like Google, Amazon, Meta. So open and interoperable, it grows the pie for everybody as opposed to thinking about fixed pie.
Absolutely, completely agree with that, and we need more thinkers like you, like that, and we look forward to hopefully onboarding people to this vision of open and interoperability in the metaverse. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing to contribute, and congratulations on your honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, I'd like to welcome Alex Coulombe to the stage. Hello, Alex. What an entrance. So, Alex, we invited you here not only because we love you, but because you have a big announcement about WebXR. But let's keep the audience waiting for that with bated breath. First, you're an impressively credentialed and beloved member of the XR community. For folks who don't know you and your work, tell us a little bit about what Agile Lens does and the work that you do there.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me, Sophia. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been involved with the XR space for over 10 years now. My company, Agile Lens, is based here in New York City. We are an XR creative studio, and we do a lot of work across architecture as well as live theater.
So, great. That's amazing.
What does that have to
I've
do
seen-
with WebXR?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I've seen a lot of your work, and it is incredible. So I love it. And now for your big announcement, what is the good news that you have in store for WebXR?
So I want to set this up properly because some folks at Epic Games and other companies will get mad if I say this wrong. Coming in Unreal Engine 5.2, it is now going to be possible to export an Unreal Engine experience that can then be viewed through a WebXR-like interface. I want to be careful there. So basically what you'll be able to do is create an Unreal Engine executable, and then through all the tools we're all used to with WebXR, viewing an experience through a regular browser or going into the browser of a VR headset, any one you choose. You can bypass all those app stores and gatekeepers and now just jump right into a very high fidelity Unreal Engine experience using Lumen and Nanite and all these things that traditionally require a very high-end computer. Now, I want to be clear, we are not running this locally on the device because that would be impossible. What you do instead is you run the WebXR experience using what's called pixel streaming, cloud computing also, and that can be a local device, or you can do the kind of thing that we like to do at Agile Lens, which is to run all this in the cloud using powerful NVIDIA GPUs at different servers across the world.
That's awesome, Alex. That's super incredible and super exciting. I know we're all anxious about when that releases and we're able to use it. And we are also really excited that you announced that here on the Polys. So thank you.
It was my pleasure. I hope everyone gets to try it out. And it is something that we have been lucky to try early because I've been poking a bunch of people at Epic as well as folks at a company called TensorWorks. They actually maintain the pixel streaming plugin for Unreal Engine. But I want to be very clear. This is experimental. It is not production ready yet. It is not officially endorsed by Epic Games. It's still, that being said, very exciting. We're planting all the seeds, and a lot of us are excited to nurture those seeds and see what can happen over the next few years.
Yeah, that's why we're all here doing what we do, is we're all very experimental, and we appreciate those that are as well. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing and enabling us to develop even more powerful WebXR experiences.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's awesome. He gets the award for best intros and outros there. And to wrap things up, I'd like to ask our director of this year's Polys, Jenna Lambert, to talk about what makes this year's Poly Awards so unique and special.
Aww. Thanks, Sophia. This year's Polys is so exciting. It's our first award show that's incorporating live video production with virtual production. Our friends at ZeroSpace have provided us with an impressive set of stages to accomplish this. We are here now in Scatter Depth Kit, an impressive volumetric capture stage, talking to you from a virtual world built by the talented Cozzi and Christie. We also have our LED stage, where we're hosting some of our in-person guests on the classic Polys red carpet. And we're also hosting VIP guests from all over the world in our Nowhere watch party. We've also got a special surprise from our friends at Looking Glass and a beautiful performance by Double I Studios. So stay tuned for a show that is really the first of its kind.
This is so exciting, and it has been an honor to produce this award show with you and our amazing team and this awesome technology. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and we'll return with Athena Demos, who will be giving a eulogy to our beloved alt space. Thank you, everyone.
Everyone can look behind you, please. Feel free to follow along with our beloved AltSpace robot. Dear friends, colleagues, and AltSpace community, we gather here today to say farewell to a platform that has brought us together and given us a virtual space to connect, collaborate, and create. AltSpace VR will always hold a special space in our hearts, as it was a pioneer in the virtual reality space and provided us with endless opportunities for social interaction, education, and entertainment. For years, AltSpace VR served as a hub for vibrant communities and a platform for individuals to share their passions, whether it be all forms of art and language sharing, or spirituality or technology. It gave us a chance to attend concerts, watch live performances, meditate, and participate in interactive events from the comfort of our own homes. While AltSpace VR may be sunsetting, the creative endeavors and collaborations and the community it fostered will not disappear. We will continue to build and connect in virtual new worlds and spaces and carry on the spirit of innovation and collaboration that AltSpace VR embodied. While we say goodbye to the platform that brought us together, we will always remember the connections and memories that we made here and look forward to new opportunities for virtual interaction and community building. Thank you, AltSpace VR, for the memories and the legacy you leave behind. Rest in peace. You will be missed. Thank you. Thank you for all of your heart emojis. Thank you, everyone.
Well said, Athena. Thanks very much. All right, and now it's time for our show. Welcome to the 3rd annual Polly's WebXR Awards. I'm your host, Julie Smithson, and I am in a New York state of mind. This show is a massive collaboration, and we're so proud to be holding our first in-person Polly's here in the Big Apple, home of the hologram, New York City. The house is in Brooklyn, and we're streaming live from ZeroSpace's XR studio, partnered with Fourth Wall, powered by Disguise, on this awesome LED stage that I'm standing on. Also home of Scatter, whose solution, Depth Kit, makes our show the first volumetrically streamed award show. Woo! Our virtual VIP room is being hosted by Nowhere, also from Brooklyn, and we've got a big announcement coming right up from another Brooklyn-based company. But first, let's talk about 2022. The past year had an increase in quality over quantity. There weren't as many Git repos, build tools, or overall number of projects, but we did see a big improvement on the quality of experiences, their performance, and not to mention the disruption of AI. We, in this community, are in front of a massive shift. This convergence of technologies we call the 4th Industrial Revolution. IoT, AI, blockchain, and extended reality, enabled by high-speed connectivity and cloud computing, are changing the way our society functions as we speak. Autonomous vehicles, robots, quantum computing, and brain-computer interfaces are giving a glimpse of the 5th Industrial Revolution, which is arriving faster than we ever expected, because now AI is writing code for us faster than we could ourselves. And this is why we think it's so important to keep these conversations going, and why we support our friends in the industry who are pushing for a humanity-first approach to tech, because we have to get this right. Honorable shout-outs to the XR Guild, GatherVerse, XRSI, and the Responsible Metaverse Alliance, and many more who are keeping ethics for tech in the forefront of this conversation.
Last year, the Metaverse Standards Forum was established with over 2,000 organizations joining in the first few months. This demonstrated a consensus on the need for standards and interoperability at a global level. Competition may drive innovation, but cooperation accelerates it. And in the spirit of cooperation, we are here to celebrate the forward progress made in the medium of WebXR in 2022. Our categories this year had the fiercest competition yet. We've had close calls, tiebreakers, and upset victories in store. So strap on your headsets. This is your last chance to experience the show in our magnificent red carpet theater in AltSpace, our only public watch party for this event. We encourage you to enjoy it together with the community, and the code to join us in AltSpace is QUS 941. That's Queen Umbrella Sam 941. And now, I turn it over to this year's ambassador, my friend and fellow XR woman, Dr. Karen Alexander, who's here to talk about why we WebXR. Take it away, Karen.
Thank you, Julie, truly. Here's the poem. I didn't write it, but I will recite it. If we're going to bring this industry to scale, we must learn from some cautionary tales of things not done right and unfortunate fails. So get your XR headset charged as we tell you why we WebXR. Let's take it back to pre-93, when Tim Berners-Lee and the W3C set the web free eternally by imbuing it with interoperability. Then, way back when, a frontiersman named Ben made a splash using Flash with his digital pen. Wrote workarounds for standards not invented yet. As it turned out, Flash was not a good bet. He didn't expect Jobs to make a tough pick. With the letter, he took Flash and did a John Wick. Because of bugs in the plugin, he clearly expressed that Flash would never run on iOS. Never again could Flash be sold to a client. Having his work erased just made Ben defiant. Then Ben swore that this couldn't happen again. The future needs a solution that is much more reliant. As the memories of proprietary dependencies ebb, remember, a decade of content was expunged from the web. The amputation of Flash left a deep scar, and this is why we WebXR. Native platforms, we know, each with great features, but to publish to them, we must pass their gatekeepers. To make a small change, you must ask their permission, and if you sell anything, they'll take a commission. Though Jobs was right about the MP4, his legacy includes the fees in App Store. Developers not free to FTP feel they've lost their agency and thus join the fight for interoperability. With hyperlinks, we traverse to old websites immortal, while siloed platforms are averse to set up a portal. With no walls to the garden, we could travel so far. And this is why we WebXR. VR worlds that were built by a woman named Stace, she vested herself, making hundreds of templates that powered thousands of events in the platform AltSpace. She never expected its owner would do an about face, leaving Stace feeling dissed without kindness or grace. The shutdown of AltSpace was a bridge too far, and this is why we WebXR. Don't arm your kid's tutor with a first-person shooter. Instead, let's use this occasion to make education, to inspire every young mind to reach for the stars. Let's use 3D tech to become who we are, because this is why we WebXR.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. Before we begin presenting this year's Polys, we have a huge announcement that we've been keeping under wraps until now. You see, The Poly is a virtual trophy. It isn't intended to exist in the physical world because it defies physics. Our shiny golden decahedron, designed by the decahedralist, our friend Linda Ricci, levitates above its engraved base with the WebXR emblem crown floating above it. Hence, it cannot be printed in 3D. The first two Polys were virtual events, and we minted the trophies as NFTs before it was a craze, then sent them to our winners so they could be displayed in their virtual environments. A virtual trophy for a virtual medium, right? It seemed like a good idea at the time. Now that the pandemic is over and our show has graduated to this in-person event, we needed a solution on what to give our in-person nominees and honorees. Patrick Cozzi is here today to receive his Lifetime Achievement Award in person. And sure, we could email him as Polly, give him a high five on stage for coming here, but we wanted to give him something physical to take home. Last year, Looking Glass introduced its WebXR library, enabling us to give a virtual trophy as a physical object. Now, we can give the man who's been honored for his work in developing the GLTF specs a GLTF WebXR award in WebXR. That's so MetaVRse. We are proud to reveal for the first time that the Poly's WebXR Awards has partnered with the Looking Glass Factory, based here in Brooklyn, to present the Poly moving forward in a Looking Glass portrait. And here to present the first Poly in a Looking Glass to our first person honoree is Sean Frayne, inventor of the Looking Glass and CEO and co-founder of Looking Glass Factory. Welcome, Sean, I'm sorry. Sean, and thank you so much for your team.
Thank you so much. Hey everyone in here and out there, and thank you to the Polys and ZeroSpace for having us. So that there's no suspense, here is that amazing award now represented in holographic glory in a Looking Glass portrait. I'm the CEO of the company Looking Glass that has made these devices. This is our smaller device, but we also have a 32-inch and a 65-inch holographic light field display. If anyone's in Greenpoint, home of the hologram, then hope y'all will come out sometime and check it out. We believe that the future of holograms and 3D generally is innately cross-platform. So you see this in a holographic Looking Glass display, but you can also get access to that same hologram of any content. So this is a 3D model. This is a GLTF represented on my phone in an embeddable format in a platform called Looking Glass Blocks. This is built on top of WebXR, so it is innately cross-platform that can display content in the maximum 3D of the device. So you could go to our website, look.glass, or directly to this particular part of our website called blocks.glass and get early access to this way to share holographic content of models, of nerfs, of real-world captures in a way that folks really haven't been able to do before easily. And I know that some speakers before chatted about this, that our goal is to go from this environment where I know a bunch of folks here, we're all friends, we've been doing this for a long time, and to go to a wider audience of folks who can get access to the power that WebXR has across many devices, mobile, VR, AR, holographic displays, light field displays, the whole kit and caboodle. So I'm really excited and honored to be here at the Polys, to be a part of this entire group that has really built the cross-platform future, not relying on walled gardens where content is hidden behind paywalls, behind sign-ins, but accessible through the open internet. We're proud to be a small part of that. Amazing to be presenting to some of the pioneers of the foundational technologies of what I think is going to power the future for a lot of us around the world in the shift from 2D to 3D. So don't take my word for it. You can go check out some of this stuff on our website, look.glass, and you'll get to it. And again, gonna hand over this amazing trophy to Patrick. And thanks everyone for having me here.
That is so cool. Here, I'm gonna borrow that for stay with me, please. Thank you to you and your team for this contribution. It's so amazing. And now it's time, presenting our first Polly of the show, the Lifetime Achievement Award. Here to share their love for this year's award winner, Patrick Cozzi, is a message from Brandon Jones, Nadine Alame, and Tony Parisi.
So Patrick is so deserving of this recognition, so this just makes me so happy. We worked together first at the GLTF working group when it was a small band of brothers with a shared vision, and it's no exaggeration to say that GLTF would not exist today without the participation and the leadership of Patrick. Not only did he set the technical foundation, but he chaired the group at a critical phase, and he was instrumental in fostering the ecosystem for GLTF. He has an irresistible blend of technical expertise and a deep commitment to open standards and a contagious enthusiasm for cooperation for the greater good. And that runs through everything that Patrick does, whether he's being a tech CEO with Cesium, a standards advocate at Kronos, at the OGC, and now the Metaverse Standards Forum, and as a teacher, both at UPenn, his books, and now the podcast about the Metaverse. So thank you, Patrick, for everything you have done for the 3D graphics community and the standards community. And I know the best is yet to come.
There's a lot of discussion these days about what the metaverse is or isn't, will or won't be, but it's undeniable that any metaverse worth having will be built on a foundation of open, ubiquitous standards. Standards for 3D models are especially important, as they make up the majority of what we see in an immersive world. The Graphics Library Transmission Format, or GLTF, is an open standard for 3D models, targeted at web technologies like WebGL and WebGPU, and maintained by the Kronos Group. Many WebXR experiences use the GLTF format as the basis for their visuals, so it's no exaggeration to say that WebXR would not be as compelling as it is today without GLTF, and GLTF would not be what it is today without Patrick Cozzi. A specification like GLTF is always the work of many collaborators, but there are often those who have an outsized effort on the standard as a whole. Having been privileged to witness this collaboration from the beginning, I've seen Patrick's work as a spec editor play a critical role in bringing GLTF to the world. That's why I'm honored to be here today to present him with the Polly for Lifetime Achievement. Patrick has been a champion of rich, immersive content on the web from the very beginning. As the CEO of Cesium, Patrick has used open and interoperable standards to build an engine for streaming 3D geospatial data. And as the co-host for the Building the Open Metaverse podcast with Mark Petit, he has helped reach out to an immersive web community about openness and interoperability in the metaverse at a time when we need those conversations most. As an active participant in the Metaverse Standards Forum, Patrick is working on creating a solid foundation for the future of immersive content. It is now my privilege to pass the torch as a former Lifetime Achievement honoree at the WebXR Awards, like Ricardo Cabello before me, to Mr. Patrick Cozzi. Congratulations, it's well earned.
We at the Open Geospatial Consortium love Patrick Cozzi. We love what you've done with GLTF, with 3D tiles. I love your commitment to standards, to interoperability, to collaboration. You're one of a kind, and I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, Patrick.
Patrick, big thank you for all the work that you've done as a co-creator of GLTF and really helping move forward the Web3D industry as a whole.
I'd like to congratulate my friend Patrick Cozzi on receiving this honor. It's not every day one can create a standard for 3D graphics on the internet, an international one that millions of people use. It takes patience, it takes drive, it takes passion. These are all qualities when I think about when I think of Patrick Cozzi. Patrick has a calm demeanor that belies a fiery passion about creating technology that everyone can use, creating products that everyone can use. And I can't wait to see what Patrick's going to be up to in building the open metaverse. GLTF was just the start. Congratulations, Patrick.
Patrick, I'm going to shut this off and hand it to you.
All right, thank you so much. Wow, so I did not see any of those videos in advance, so I am quite embarrassed, also very honored. Really for GLTF, the community, all the folks that you saw there, Neil Trevitt, Tony Parisi, Brandon Jones, Yuli, Fabrice, they all did so much work so early in GLTF. It was a grassroots effort for many years, doing a lot of work on GitHub, talking about every success, whether someone wrote a simple open source project to compute the bounding box of GLTF, that was cool, and we wanted to share it with the world. And then we built momentum over time through openness and collaboration, and then the community started to grow. Around 2017, Microsoft jumped in and said, hey, we want to use GLTF and we want to help bring PBR materials to that. We said, well, that's great. We want to bring PBR materials to the web. And then things really took off. And then we saw interest in 3D commerce, IKEA, Wayfair. They wanted to basically replace the JPEG with a 3D model. And now, Julie, thank you for the shout out to the Metaverse Standards Forum, right? We're looking at, well, how can we help the USD community and the GLTF community collaborate and look at kind of win-win opportunities there. So just so honored to receive this, so inspired by all the work that everyone is doing here with WebXR and GLTF, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you, and congratulations, Patrick, on your Lifetime Achievement win. Now it's time to kick off our nominated categories, and here to read our first is distinguished XR storyteller Kira Benzing, founder of Double I Studios, to present Entertainment Experience of the Year. Stay tuned for a very special presentation Kira and her team have created to celebrate Brittan Heller's honor later in the show. Welcome, Kira, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the love and the beauty you bring to your craft and the inspiration you are to this industry.
Oh, that's very kind, Julie. Thank you all so much. We are so grateful to be here on this beautiful stage at ZeroSpace. As we all know and strongly believe, entertainment is a healthy form of escapism and reverie. With the immersive medium, you get the opportunity to escape into the experience and become a participant, and not just a passive observer. This year's nominees offer a glowing variety of different types of entertainment and web-based immersive content. We are so excited for the creativity of these creators. And the nominees for Entertainment Experience of the Year are
Globe Theater by Ethereal Engine and Wild Capture. This virtual concert venue has a lineup of volumetric performers that you and your friends can dance with. We've been waiting for years to see this level of quality volumetric capture optimized for delivery into a web browser. We are happy to see this experience showcase give us a taste of the future. Boulder World by Vite Rabbit, Florian Isixi. If going to a rock climbing gym isn't your thing, the whole point of VR is for you to be able to experience it, even if your trapezius muscles aren't up to it in real life. This challenges you to keep reaching for the holds until you fall, but don't worry, you won't get hurt. Just try again. Spatial Fusion by Phoria, Lusion, Meta, and Zelig Sound. What do you do when a portal opens up in your living room and a damaged spaceship comes tumbling through? Well, of course, you put it back together, restart its engine, clean up the debris, and send it on its merry way. This experience's colorful graphics tease what's to come to us with AR pass-through in WebXR. And Project Flowerbed by the MetaVRse team. Whistle a happy tune, a Polly's theme if you want, while you plant flowers and trees from your seed bank in your own private park. Then take out your watering can and watch them grow. This healing and peaceful way to escape from reality is a use case into itself.
And the winner is Project Flowerbed by MetaVRse.
To the success of this project, and I won't try to name them all, but I do want to call out the core team: Anupma, DM, Danny, Felix, Riley, and Scott. A big thank you to each of you for all your time, care, and the hard work you poured into this project. This award is recognition and validation of the vision we all shared and shaped together over the past year. I also want to give a shout out to the art teams we worked with at Volta and Liquid. They were great partners in developing the visual style and creating the artwork for Project Flowerbed. We built Flowerbed to show what's possible with WebXR. One of our goals was to create a native quality VR experience, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. Another goal was to create a production-grade example of a WebXR experience that can assist other developers in building their own high-quality WebXR content. To that end, we recently open-sourced Project Flowerbed. All of the code and all of the assets are available right now on GitHub. I want to thank the Polys for hosting this event and for giving consideration to Project Flowerbed. We appreciate what you've been doing year after year to promote WebXR and to recognize and celebrate everyone working in this space. I sincerely hope that at next year's Polys, at least one of the winners is there in some small part because of some inspiration or insight they took away from Project Flowerbed. Finally, I want to thank the WebXR developer community, the developers on the WebXR Discord, the developers on Twitter, and the developers flying under the radar building something great that the world hasn't seen yet. The VR web platform team at Meta has been pushing hard to advance the state of the WebXR ecosystem for quite some time. And seeing all the great work, innovation, exploration, and enthusiasm come out of the WebXR developer community is what motivates us every day. Thank you so much.
Hello, here we go. I'm in the Scatter studio and obviously in the Polys world too, so this is pretty awesome. All right, here we go. In year one, we had an Innovation of the Year category, but this year, it made sense to bring this award back as Innovator of the Year. Innovators are people who, with their forward-thinking companies, solve some of the bigger picture challenges to make a better experience for WebXR users. Here to present Innovators of the Year is Daniel Lundgren, Senior Director of Business Development for FutureWay, who has been a big supporter of the Polys and WebXR Summit Series. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Julie.
Thank you for being here, Daniel, and welcome to the Polys.
Thanks, Julie. So we are here to recognize 5 very different innovators whose contributions are helping to advance the movement of WebXR on several fronts: scalability, conversational AI, workflow, rendering quality, commerce, and lighting and texture. And the nominees for Innovators of the Year are RP1, Sean Mann. Sean Mann and the RP1 team are delivering something incredible: a persistent, seamless, real-time platform with limitless scalability. RP1 is a new paradigm in network server architecture, solving the fundamental obstacle in the creation of a real-time internet, also known as the Metaverse. Next, Meet Kai, James Kaplan. James Kaplan and his team at Meet Kai are a conversational AI and Metaverse company that provides Meet Kai Reality, Meet Kai Metaverse Editor, and Meet Kai Cloud, which are the latest additions to its expanding portfolio of conversational AI technologies. Next up, Needle Tools, Felix Herbst. So Needle is a technology company providing tools and integrations for WebXR developers. They are focusing on fast and flexible workflows, reducing friction and providing tailor-made solutions to problems. With Needle, Felix Herbst and his team are delivering a very impressive solution for WebXR developers. Next, Zesty, Elijah Tai. Zesty delivers immersive ads to Web3 and crypto-native audiences, including support for WebXR and Decentraland. Developers can advertise and monetize their creations in the Metaverse with Zesty, which has helped developers reach over 500,000 people every month with their interoperable Billboard SDK and powerful analytics tools. Next up, Paradowski Creative, James Kane. Paradowski Creative is a full-service creative agency based in St. Louis. For their amazing mini-golf game, Above Par, Adovsky, James Kane, and the team worked together with Wonderland Engine to use an awesome technique to bake lighting into their scene. And the winner of Innovator of the Year is RP1, Sean Mann.
Congratulations, Sean. Bye.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you guys.
Congrats.
Congrats, Sean. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I'm speechless. You hear that always at the Oscars, right? Like I'm completely speechless. I mean, to be amongst these many pioneers and innovators all in one space is absolutely amazing. I think we're all winners because we're creating things that are going to really help the future of the real-time browser. Obviously, I'd love to thank just my team. I'd love to take credit, but I have the technical people that are programming every day that are making something extremely special. When you think about the metaverse, you have this grand vision of hundreds of millions of people being in this single digital space where everyone can build their own real-time application. And obviously being stuck in the 15 to 100 people or so is not going to get us there. And my partner, Dean Abramson, had this vision and this new technology that enabled us to scale to hundreds of millions of people in a single architecture. And it's exciting to share it with the community where we can enable all these amazing developers, creators, and designers to create something super special and have it run on the web without having to go through an app store or go through some type of walled garden system. So for us, it's the value system of our company is really democratizing these experiences so that we can all participate the same way that we build websites in the current browser. And so super excited to be a part of this. And thank you so much for putting this amazing event together. Ben Irwin and his entire team has worked countless hours. So I'm really proud to be a part of this. And thank you so much for including RP1.
Hey, here I am. All right. Our first honors category today is for community. Community is why we do this show. Maybe I'm jaded, but the XR community is pretty special because we are so supportive of each other's work. And someone who has given generously to drive this community through insight and leadership is Heyning. Here to present our community honor is last year's honoree for his work on advancing the immersive web, Trevor Flowers. Welcome, Trevor.
Thanks, Julie. What sets the XR community apart is the tone of collaboration and cooperation, and I can think of no one who leads by example more than Heyning. I was touched to have been named for this award last year, and I'm now honored to pass the torch to Evo for her dedication to advancing our ecosystem. As a board member of XR Guild, Evo helps guide us towards an ethical implementation of this promising and potentially perilous technological era we're entering. As a co-chair of OMI, the Open Metaverse Interoperability Group, Evo has helped organize the community around establishing standards. As the chair for MetaTraversal, Evo guides an ongoing series of discussions around portal interoperability between platforms, which was credited as being instrumental in the formation of the Metaverse Standards Forum. Now with over 2,000 members, MSF is doing the hard work of coordinating a wide spectrum of stakeholders to get consensus on new standards that ensure a successful implementation of these technologies. As a creative talent, Evo is out on the vanguard with RealityCraft, not just advancing generative AI prompt engineering, but also teaching it to others. Thank you, Evo, for the sustained effort you put into making this community better.
Thank you so much, Trevor, and for all of you in this community. Communities thrive because people keep showing up and they care about each other and they look after the details, whether that's standards or agreements or choosing to work together. So thank you for being great collaborators, great community members, and people who are helping to move this work forward together.
All right, hello again. At the core of why we created the Polys is this year's category, Developer of the Year. Developers typically don't crave the attention of your typical maker, often choosing to be pseudonymous, known by their handle. But developers are more than a Git commit history, and we recognize that developers are doing the real work in building the metaverse. WebXR developers, we celebrate you. We need more of you, and we encourage all developers to upskill, making immersive experiences, and to grow our community. Here to present Developer of the Year is one of last year's nominees in this category and winner of Augmented Reality Experience at the second Polys, Yinch Yeep. Welcome, Yinch, and thank you for being a pillar of the WebXR community.
Thanks, Julie. Being out on the frontier of the immersive web is a pioneering effort. The 3D web has been in the works since the 90s, but here we are, decades later, and we're just now getting the specs, the tools we need. It still feels like a Wild West as standards are still getting sorted out, but we can see steady progress, and this is what makes it so exciting to be a WebXR developer. And the nominees for Developer of the Year are Ash Connell, aka Ash Connell. Hyperfly.io is nominated for WebXR Platform of the Year with its polished interface and smooth user experience. And Ash is the lead developer who brought us this emerging platform. Vanessa Freudenberg, aka CodeFrau. CodeFrau is one of the architects and lead devs on Croquet OS, which is also nominated for Platform of the Year with a prolific commit history over the past few years and was a Squeak.org Smalltalk developer contributing to open source since the 90s. Gheric Speiginer. Gheric is the most nominated developer of this year's Polys, nominated in 5 other categories, including Game of the Year, WebXR Platform of the Year for Ethereal Engine, which is nominated in 3 experience categories. Daniel Adams, aka MSub2. We met Daniel on the red carpet as he is the founder of the massive WebXR community on Discord. He's also a lead developer on Zesty Market and its game Robot Rally. And Jin, aka Mad Jin, aka DankVR. Very few people know who Jin actually is, and he aims to keep it that way. A leader in the M3 community, Jin has been a contributor and advocate to open standards for digital assets, avatar formats, and immersive navigation. The solutions he comes up with are dank. And the winner is Jin.
Whoa, hey. Thank you so much. I am a huge believer in WebXR, of course. Thank you so much, everyone. I know a lot of us are watching from Hyperfly. Hi, fam. Yeah, I'm just pretty thrilled I won. I stand on the shoulders of giants, so I'm very humbled, and I owe it to everyone who's helping build the immersive web. I'm someone who builds on all sorts of platforms, pretty platform agnostic. I try and look at how we can make it more frictionless to bring our stuff between all of these different frameworks, because the web, doesn't really restrict you from one framework versus the other. We're all building on open interoperable standards and these frameworks and open libraries that allow our stuff to be aligned with principles of freedom and self-expression and the freedom to publish. So thanks all.
Amazing. Welcome back. I am going to take a moment and just comment on how amazing this world is as I present the next award and have a little bit of fun from the hot tub that Coz and Christy have built in the Polys world. And we've spent a lot of special time in this world, maybe not so much in the hot tub, but we have been in this world and we've seen lots of great shows and we've met up with so many people. So just a quick shout out to Coz and Christy for building this world, having this fun, and why not, because I'm about to announce the Game of the Year nomination and pass that off to Rick Cabinier. So WebXR is still far from having AAA game level graphics, but every year we see improvement in the look and the feel of immersive games on the web. In keeping with tradition, we've invited a member of the W3C Immersive Web team to this category. Here to present Game of the Year is Rick Cabinier, software engineer from Meta's WebXR team. Welcome, Rick.
Thanks, Julie. Games make up many of the experiences available in WebXR. Even so, we've only begun to explore the possibilities of how gamification makes enjoyable content. Importantly, WebXR games don't need the approval of an app store or commission on in-game transactions. So we encourage developers to keep pushing the medium and this distribution platform. And the nominees for WebXR Game of the Year are Pud Club by Ethereal Engine and Sunset Division. Now let's talk about Pud Club. one of the 2 nominated miniature golf games this year. This multi-participant experience lets you play golf. Art Salad by Felix Mariotto. Take classic sculptures in exploded view and put them back together. The catch is you can only see one side of the picture and you have to figure out the back. If you look at the source code on GitHub, and you really should, you'll see that these are single models and Felix split them up using 3GS. Boulder World by White Rabbit and Florian Isiki. We met this climbing game in the entertainment category, but this interactive workout is not your typical game, as you need to figure out how to reach and keep ascending the gym walls without falling. Rogue Saber by Ruben van der Leun. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster, it's not as easy as you think to deflect laser blasts with a Rogue Saber. And if you don't, you might get blasted. Above Par Adowski by Paradowski creative James Kahn. This single-user golf game is nominated for its innovative graphic techniques and interactions set in a nostalgic Western tourist motif. And the winner is Above Par Adowski.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the WebXR Awards. We really appreciate this at Paradowski Creative. I have a few people to thank. I want to start by thanking Ruben van der Leun. I hope I pronounced your name right, Ruben. You not only published a great project with Rogue Saber, but you also published your analytics showing that there was a real audience out there hungry for WebXR content. That was honestly one of the key things that inspired me to undertake this project. So appreciate that. Cheers to you. I would also say thank you to my 2 bosses, Andy Wise and our CEO, Gus. They have always, I've been at this company approaching 4 years now, and they've always had a vision and understanding for why WebXR is important in our industry. Cheers to them and to the owner of our company, Terry Woodruff, for supporting that vision. I want to thank our team, Ayushman Jory, Colin Freeman, and Noah Ilbury are all super talented technical artists who broke new ground with their unlit vertex color pipeline through Blender, made us able to have this enormous scene, really high quality art. Kudos to those guys, great design thinkers and technical artists. Cheers to our developers, Kevin Olson, Ethan Mahalicek, and Irina Fawcett, each contributed to development in big and original ways. Dan Rayfield did a great job with our branding and UX, and former Paradowski and Eric Bowman modeled a few key assets as well. So thanks to all those people. As well as our senior producer, Kaylee Breitmeyer, and accounts manager, Madeline Sutherland, also just helped move everything along day by day with scheduling and admin work. Thanks to the Meta team for, first of all, producing an amazing WebXR platform, as well as directly supporting us in the development of this project and providing kind of the key placement to get this in front of VR users. So that's Dave Hill, Scott Nagy, Felix Zhang, Rick Abanier, and others, honestly, are really supportive of our WebXR community and created an amazing platform. Ada Rose Cannon of Apple also did some foundational framework that got this project off the ground to begin with. I think last is M2's WebXR Discord, which we talked about earlier. We've got so much great advice and open source code there. Nori Huisman, Diarmid McKenzie, and Diego Marcos were all a huge help to getting our project out there. Wouldn't have happened without them. So yeah, lastly, thanks to the awards team here for putting this all together and for the recognition. Paradowski, we think WebXR is the best expression of the metaverse there is. We think our emphasis on design and creative direction is the differentiator that's going to hopefully, we think, take some of this WebXR content to the next level. So if you're a business or brand looking for one of the best production partners in XR, just reach out to us. We're excited to talk. Thanks to everybody again. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Now for a special moment, as we had the opportunity to chat with Phoria, one of the most nominated WebXR experiences at this year's Polys. Let's hear what they have to say about developing such a cool WebXR experience.
Things like, what is it about mixed reality that makes you put it on and feel that kind of like little magical feeling of this is something special? And so like, we had those areas that we knew we needed to focus on, and that kind of became the framework of the steps that you move through. Like, you know, when you go inside the ship, you're seeing the walls covered with all of the great 3D art, but it's kind of mixed with your room. That's kind of showing off the plane detection, the fact that we're aware of your space.
It was color pass-through, plane detection, and then spatial anchors. So those were the kind of three pillars that kind of built the story in a sense as well. So the first thing you see is a really colorful portal. And then the second thing you see is stuff bouncing around your walls, hitting your planes. And the third thing you see is kind of stuff appearing and disappearing in your space. So that was really cool to explore. And we kind of had to link it up with a narrative. And that's where Lucas came in with a lot of sci-fi, you know, a lot of really good references. And we were just having a ball with how we would write this thing.
I guess we were so inspired by like how futuristic the hardware and the technology was that we were like, well, this has to be a really futuristic story to match it. So we just leaned directly into the sci-fi elements. We're all big like sci-fi buffs at Phoria.
Where I think it's going to get really, really exciting, you know, for a company like Meta is, you know, we're always concerned with connection and presence. When we think about things like photogrammetry and NERF and those kind of technologies, and you know, Phoria guys were just touching on that. WebXR has become suddenly much more compelling for a lot of our clients. So we're starting to roll out spatial fusion in our Metaverse experience centers in Australia, and we're hoping to do that globally as well. We have centers in our offices where people can come in and try out both VR and MR. And WebXR is just an amazing sort of very attainable and buildable solution for that. I think also the ability just to update it, you know, straight on their own URL is another compelling piece.
I think for WebXR, for me, it's really just breaking the paradigm of building experiences that are kind of closed in these closed ecosystems. I really like the idea of having an open, you know, ecosystem, and the fact that you can just go on a website and walk into a website is a game changer to me. You know, before it's like a 2D plane, but now you're talking about a 3D box.
This time last year, Worrell won a Poly Award. We actually installed a 3D trophy in our office in AR, so it's actually virtually aligned and superimposed on our trophy shelf at the office. So it's cool to kind of see a bit of a meta aspect of how we're kind of weaving these worlds together. It was just really heartwarming, even online, to track really just how the project's been received by pioneers such as all of you.
All right, next up is the Ombudsperson of the Year, and it's a special award recognizing individuals who are advancing the conversation around ethics, privacy, and safety in tech. Last year, Kent Bai named Avi Bar-Zeev as our Ombudsperson. During the last year, Avi founded the nonprofit XR Guild to help influence tech companies to make responsible choices. Avi has chosen Brittan Heller as our next Ombudsperson for her outstanding work as a lawyer at national and international levels, helping drive wise policy decisions as governments are still figuring out how to regulate emerging technologies. Thank you for all you do, Avi, and welcome back to the Polys.
I first met Brittan Heller about 3 years ago after she wrote an important law journal article introducing the term biometric psychography to describe how our personal data can be exploited. Kent Bai had just interviewed her, and I thought there might be some overlap with the outreach work I was doing. As it turned out, she'd already read my Vice magazine article on eye tracking and referenced it extensively. We agreed to meet. It was clear from that point on we'd be allies. We soon worked together on a collaboration for the Journal of Trust and Safety on experiential advertising. And Brittan has recently joined the XR Guild as a board member and advisor. We're all delighted to have her experience, perspective, and wisdom to help us try to reach all professionals in the field with actionable information to help make XR turn out best for everyone. I can't think of anyone better to take on the mantle of Ombudsperson for this year's cycle. Brittan has been fighting for human rights for close to 20 years, first as a human rights lawyer fighting war crimes, fighting for safety and equality in virtual worlds, fighting hate and anti-Semitism for the ADL, and more recently with the Berkman Klein Center, Harvard Kennedy Center, Atlantic Council, and an association with Stanford Cyber Policy Center to promote a safe, healthy, and inclusive metaverse. I am honored to hand off the title of Ombudsperson. Brittan will be a beacon of integrity, strength, and clear communication about the issues we're all concerned with in the metaverse and beyond.
All right, now we have a very, very special presentation, which I just can't wait to see myself as well, but it's to honor Brittan Heller and all the work that she's done. Please help me welcome the group from Double I, which will provide a beautiful, beautiful presentation in Brittan Heller's honor.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. For people who may not be aware, my work is about the type of information you can get from eye tracking and gaze vectors, and how if we're not careful with that type of information, it can really reveal very intimate things about our likes, our dislikes, our fundamental human rights. So when I saw that piece, it was a very beautiful physical representation of what's at stake. I'd like to thank Avi and Kent and everyone at the XR Guild and Virtual World Society and the entire XR community for giving me this honor and allowing me to be part of you as being a weird little lawyer lady. I really appreciate how everyone here is so involved in creating a space where everyone can belong. And that's what I like most about the community, and that's what I hope my work can accomplish even in a little bit. Thank you also to the people who first introduced me to XR back in 2017. I can't think of anything else that's closer to magic. And from that moment on, my life's been changed. I think about it every day. Thank you to my family and my friends and my colleagues at Stanford and the Atlantic Council, and my prior colleagues at the Center for Technology and Society at Harvard. And I'm just grateful to be honored and to be a part of shaping the future of technology and making it a more safe, inclusive, and beautiful space for us all. Thank you.
All right, last year we honored the first few AR experiences ever built in WebXR. This year, we're calling the category AR Pass-Through Experience of the Year, because in 2022, the AR module in WebXR became more robust, and developers now have legit stereoscopic devices that support mixed reality to test on. This is the beginning of an era where content creators can build for AR glasses that are still an undetermined number of years away. Here to present is Lucas Risotto, co-founder of AR House and renowned mad scientist of XR. Welcome, and thank you, Lucas, for accepting our invitation to present this poly.
Thanks, Julie. 2022 has been a big year for augmented reality and WebXR. While for the past years, AR has been mostly relegated to phones, today, pass-through headsets are everywhere, allowing us to use camera feeds on devices like the Quest to project digital content onto the real world and create really compelling WebXR experiences. So for this award, I'd like to highlight some of the AR experiences that rocked the WebXR world this year. The nominees for AR Pass-Through Experience of the Year are SpraySpace by White Rabbit and Florian Isiksi. SpraySpace lets you take a virtual can of spray and practice your graffiti tags without ever getting paint on your hands. With 4 different stone digital walls to choose from, SpraySpace is not just an awesome creative outlet, but you can even mint your visual masterpieces as collectible NFTs. Up next, we have Spatial Fusion by Phoria, Lusion, Meta, and Zelig Sound. Launched as a pass-through experience around the release of the Quest Pro, this imaginative AR game has you repair a disabled spaceship. With debris scattered everywhere around your room in mixed reality, including a cow and a bottle of baby rays, the project features a full engine room and cockpit you can inspect in your real-life surrounding. AR Concert by Ethereal Engine. AR Concert puts performers up and close in front of you so you can twerk with them to your heart's content. An AR version of Globe Theater, AR Concert features volumetric video by Wild Capture and was also nominated in 2 different categories. Up next, we have Duali Tower by Oren the Panther Weissman. The Panther returns as a Poly nominee for the 3rd year in a row with this Unity-based AR puzzle game. With a table full of blocks, use them to create 2 symmetrical towers that visually oppose each other in a really simple and highly interactive way. And finally, we have Monster Hands by Needle Tools. Use your monster hands to pick up laughing skulls and hunted goat heads from the comfort of your surroundings. Mechanically simple, but visually transformative, Monster Hands is a great showcase of the kind of visual fidelity that is possible today with the power of WebXR. And the winner of the AR Pass-Through Experience of the Year is Spatial Fusion by Phoria, Lusion, Meta, and Zelig Sound.
Well, thank you so much. This is amazing, hugely humbled at this result. We originally built Spatial Fusion to showcase the capability of mixed reality WebXR on the new MetaQuest Pro headset. So color pass-through, spatial anchoring, plane tracking, and it grew from a kind of very simple, basic idea into something really, really beautiful. And that was really due to the hard work and dedication and passion of the team. I think at Phoria, just absolutely outstanding work from the beginning. Trent, big shout out to Ray, Ryan, Lucas, Heath, as well as Ben Ferns, who's on the call here with me, the team at Lusion UK, and at Meta, so Jacob Rossi, Eric Aldrin, Bob Biaki, Dave Hill, Rick Cabena, and yeah, I don't know if you want to say anything else there, Ben?
Yeah, just to echo those thanks, huge thanks to the entire team. It was a team effort, and some people worked together 5 times, some people working together for the first time, and everyone was just pulling in the same direction. So it was great to kind of set out to build something special and hopefully achieve that. And yeah, it's just exciting to see the promise of WebXR and pass-through and all of these things evolving over time. I think one of the best feedback we got was, wow, I can see a website in my living room. and I understand what this means now. So yeah, thanks for the award.
Hi everyone, Trent from Phoria here. Thanks so much for recognizing Spatial Fusion as AR Pass-Through Experience of the Year. Look, I'm not gonna lie, there is zero chance we could have pulled this off without the support from our incredibly talented team, Meta, Lusion, Zelig Sound, Ben Ferns. You guys are insanely talented. It was actually such a humbling experience to come together to elevate Spatial Fusion to a new level. It really goes to show now what's possible with mixed reality and AR pass-through experiences over the web. It just makes so much sense to remove the friction to throw people into these really magical blended experiences that combine the best of the metaverse within the physical world. I just can't wait to see what the next generation of hardware, software, and creators has in store. Thanks again to the Polys. We really appreciate being recognized for our hard work in this way. Thank you so much and all the best. See you next year. Bye.
All right. Last year, Briar Prestige spent 48 hours in the metaverse, straight. And she made a documentary about her world-hopping adventures across platforms. In the process, she came to understand how social VR brings people together, wherever they are. This made Briar the perfect choice to present our WebXR Platform of the Year category. Welcome, Briar, to the show. And thank you for joining us at the Polys. You have a unique appreciation for how different platforms work. Please tell us about this category, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's like you created this category just for me. At last year's Polys, we had Framework of the Year, Software of the Year, Platform of the Year, and World of the Year. This is like all of these categories rolled into one. And it makes this year's awards show mercifully shorter. There honestly weren't a lot of new WebXR frameworks or software this year, and it's hard to pick 5 single worlds when there are so many great ones. We don't use Metaverse in the plural, so we aren't going to call them MetaVRses. But these great WebXR platforms have multiple worlds. Each has their own strengths, and here are the 4 being recognized this year. And the nominees for WebXR Platform of the Year are
Hyperfi by Developer of the Year nominee Ash Connell and Philbert Barrow. Hyperfi has got lots of worlds to explore, accessible right from the homepage, a clean user interface, Web3 integration, and portals galore. Hyperfi is quickly getting a reputation for being a favorite WebXR platform for creators. Croquet, David A. Smith and Developer of the Year nominee Vanessa Codefrau Freudenberg. Croquet OS is a feature-rich platform for developers with the Microverse Builder tool, World Core Framework Entity Management System, Virtual DOM, and React bindings. It makes it easy to embed a multi-participant immersive experience in any website. Croquet OS is open source under an Apache license. Ethereal Engine, Liam Brozer, Gheric Speiginer, Josh Field, David Gordon, and Kyle Barron. This multifaceted MIT licensed platform has universal volumetric digital beings that connect AI agents, turnkey blockchain integration, and even has back-end bridges to Houdini and Unreal Engine. And Ozone Metaverse, JS. This NFT integrated platform has a variety of worlds with a spectrum of use cases and high-quality texture rendering. It has Ready Player Me avatar integration and is building a creator marketplace.
And the winner is Croquet. Congratulations.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Briar. That is quite unexpected. We at Croquet think that real-time multi-user is fundamental for virtual reality going forward. And that's why we built a multi-user operating system. And then on top of that is our open source Microverse authoring environment. with live coding, etc. But everything you build in Croquet is innately multi-user because we don't just synchronize state, we synchronize computation itself, which is the evolution of state, and we synchronize that. It's quite fascinating. You should check it out. So I will accept this award on behalf of the whole team at Croquet. My co-founders David, Aaron, Yoshiki, and Dan, and the team who helped build our platform and products, Brian, Jen, Zach, Lucas, Kai, Isaac, and Anselm and Evan, and of course our business team with John, Sa, Dennis, and the other David. And I also have to mention the inventors of the original Croquet 20 years ago, which was our founder, David, but also my friend Andreas, who passed away way too soon, and David Reed, and we were all in LNK's group back then. So thank you for this award, and thank you to the Polys team for an amazing show. It's been awesome.
The next award that actually, it's not an award. I'm actually going to ask James George to come on stage with me. Please welcome James George, the CEO and co-founder of Scatter. And let's just talk about this for a second. So I've been up here, Sophia's been back there. I was in a hot tub a couple minutes ago. Did you like that? And I thought that was kind of fun. But I just wanted to say, on behalf of the whole show, the crew, the nominees, the winners, thank you so much for including Scatter as part of the show. I'd like to give you a chance to share with everybody a little bit about your product.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight as a presenting partner at the Polys Awards. And so I'm James, co-founder and CEO at Scatter. And this at ZeroSpace is actually our headquarters. We're a Brooklyn-based company. And you can see behind the wall there the volumetric video capture stage that we've been using for tonight. It's called DepthKit Studio. That's our product at Scatter. We develop the DepthKit solution. And it's the world's most widely used solution for creating volumetric video captures in live streams like you saw tonight. So why would you want to use volumetric video? Well, tonight is a great example of the use. We were able to have an interactive 3D world that was created and broadcast to the live audience there and seen here on the stage. And by the hosts, Julie and Sophia, they could just step right into the capture volume and be immediately appear as a virtual character. So it's faster, from a design point of view, it's faster and more affordable to make authentic real life people as characters in interactive 3D using volumetric video, and we aim to make that high quality and portable with our DepthKit Studio solution. So we have a few announcements right now that I'll rattle off, and then I'll say thank you. We've recently just released a new version of DepthKit Studio that makes setting up your own volumetric video capture stage 10 times faster than it was before, so you can check that out now, it's available. And alongside the Polys, this event tonight, we'll be, in the next weeks, publishing a whole host of new tutorials for how you can create interactive live streaming volumetric video experiences. So one of the tutorials will cover exactly how we made the show tonight with a local broadcast like we're showing. You'll also be able to see how, for example, you can transport a volumetric video hologram into a MetaQuest Pro and actually walk around the capture in real time with sub-second latency, which is very cool. And so all that's forthcoming very soon. We have pipelines that support with DepthKit, all major game engines, Unity, Unreal, and WebXR, as well as performance on mobile platforms. So please check out DepthKit Studio at depthkit.tv. Again, thank you to ZeroSpace and the Polys Awards for allowing us to be a presenting partner with you tonight. So I'll pass it back to you, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. One thing I wanted to share with you is that our VIP guests, we had them standing by in Zoom, but we also had our guests in the middle of nowhere. Enter John Morris. Thank you so much for being with me and with our group today. Please welcome CEO John Morris of Nowhere.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's so awesome to be here with everybody here from ZeroSpace, who are friends of ours in Brooklyn, to hearing James and talking about DepthKit and Scatter, who we worked with my former company, Windmill Factory, seeing Jen get awarded, who helped us build Nowhere. And I love what he said about being built on the backs of giants, that's what Nowhere is. It's a WebXR platform that allows humans to be live in video chat and drop in on a website that you can actually hang out in. It's lovely to have all the VIPs and be a part of the polys. And I'd like to say a couple upcoming things that we just released in Nowhere. We have a new GLTF plugin on Blender that's pretty powerful that artists are starting to create with all over the world and create concerts, comedy clubs, all kinds of different experiences. One experience I'll mention is Baby Rose coming up on March 11th, which is a Grammy-nominated artist who's incredible. I highly recommend you check out that show. And again, special thanks to the polys and everybody that we are built on the backs of. May we create an open and inclusive internet that allows people to meet other people who are portals, which will open up doors for them and make all of this possible. Thank you so much.
It's time for our New York Minute. Presenting our next category, Education Experience of the Year, is someone with a very special relationship with using technology for education here in New York City and around the world. Welcoming Clayton Banks, who founded Silicon Harlem to help bridge the digital divide in education in Upper Manhattan. Welcome, Clayton. We're so honored to have you here.
Thank you, Julie. Silicon Harlem is dedicated to connecting people that are not getting the access, exposure, and opportunity to realize their full potential. Immersive media is a key part of the future of education, and our collective challenge is that the benefits should be designed for all. And WebXR is how it will be distributed, guaranteeing it will reach the most people possible. The original digital divide is far from being closed, and as we move into the era of the metaverse, we can avoid creating a new one by building an open, interoperable metaverse that meets people where they are. I'm proud to be part of the Poly's first live event in my beautiful city of New York. Yes! And introduce the outstanding nominees for Education Experience of the Year. And the nominees are Trace by the World Bank and DPT. Those who work in international organizations such as the World Bank often confront issues of race, castes, and ethnicities in their work. Using the beautiful metaphor of a woven, interconnected tapestry, Trace lets you hear the voices of personal experience, telling stories of being confronted with and rising above bigotry. Our next nominee, Prehistoric Domain by Benjamin Dupuy. Having a theme park of living in dinosaurs is no longer just a fantasy in books and movies. It's now a museum where you can experience these extinct beasts up close in WebXR. Get to know the Sauruses in this next level demonstration of XR for education. Our next nominee is Art Salad by Felix Mariota. Get to know classic sculptures as you put together their pieces in this gamified puzzle. Grab the parts and snap them into place as you hold them into your hand and have fun figuring out which pieces go where. Our next nominee is Magical Reflections, a museum of the art of Johann Irman Hummel by the State Museum of Berlin, and Make Me Pulse. It's cool enough to move around a virtual museum, but have you ever been inside a formally 2D painting? It's a whole new way to experience art in 6 degrees of freedom. Our final nominee is Vodafone's Wimbledon Walk of Champions by Unit 9, Hannah Neal, and Veronica Watson-Cooch,
Enjoy a guided tour through this living multimedia museum of the history of Wimbledon tennis. Framed photos come to life as videos.
And the winner of Education Experience of the Year is Prehistoric Domain, Benjamin Dupuy. Give him a bigger hand than that. Come on, these are dinosaurs.
Hi, everyone. I'm
you
so
very much.
happy and honored to receive this award. There is so many talented people and amazing projects. All these projects open new ways for learning with interaction, entertainment. WebXR opens so many possibilities. The future is very exciting. I want to thank my wife and project designers of the project, Elisa. So many nights and weekends spent on it, on Prehistoric Domain. These last years on free time. It's a lot of sacrifice, but here we are. I'm so happy. I also thank my family, the first tester, also the talented collaborators, Pixel Tigers, the creator behind the wonderful dinosaurs, Dumbleman, a lot of other collaborators. Nothing possible without them. And also the Paleo and the formidable Prehistoric Domain community will give us a huge boost. And the WebXR community, nothing is impossible when you have a community like that. Also, thank you to the Poly for this incredible show and the opportunity to highlight the pioneers of the immersive web. I'm a big fan of Jurassic Park. It's an inspiration, obviously. And in the movie, John Hammond says, I wanted to show them something that was not an illusion, something that was real, something that they could see and touch. We are all pioneers of the immersive web here, and I think we are at the beginning of a new era, an era where the line between illusion and reality is very small. And it's very exciting for the future. Thank you so much.
All right, well, we're almost at the end of our show. But first, thanks to our jury, whom we'd like to thank for their time and input with all of these experiences to make the difficult decision to award the winners for this show. We began our ceremony with a heartfelt eulogy to AltSpace. And now we're going to end by welcoming back Athena Demos, CEO and co-founder of Big Rock Creative, to present our Experience of the Year category. Hi, Athena.
Hi,
Welcome
Julie.
back. Aw. Thank you so much for your love, passion, and heartfelt eulogy for the AltSpace VR platform. We are truly grateful for providing us with an emotional experience. You shared the power of being immersed and the ability to connect with others. And now you're about to present the final award of the day,
Yes.
Experience of the Year, presented by Athena Demos.
Thank you, Julie. Well, we have 4 out of 8 nominated categories this year with experience in the title. And we've met all 5 of our nominees. And this one is the Experience de Resistance. We've met 5 of our nominees in this category already, but now we get to find out who wins the big prize. So the nominees of Experience of the Year are Spatial Fusion by Phoria, Illusion, Meta, and Zelig Sound. This fun, gamified puzzle is more than an experience. It's a groundbreaking level up in bringing a stereoscopic mixed reality that takes over your room. It's colorful, it's fun, and it's brought graphics to WebXR that future experiences will be inspired by. Prehistoric Domain by Benjamin Dupuy. What's fun is you hear the dinosaurs before they reveal themselves. In addition to just being beautifully executed, Prehistoric Domain reminds us an essential part of a visual experience is sound. The spatial audio of grumbling dinosaurs adds to the realism. Globe Theater by Ethereal Engine. The bar for concert experiences in the Metaverse has been raised. Combined with the quality volcaps from Wild Capture, Globe Theater is a formidable contender. What's really important, the Ethereal engine platform, including the volumetric player, is MIT licensed, the most open license in software. Trace by the World Bank and DPT. Sometimes metaphors can be powerful, and this experience looms large. Likening our human diversity to a woven tapestry, this internal project of the World Bank makes art out of employees sharing their personal experiences. It uses WebXR as a storytelling format in a way that explores new potential in this medium.
I believe that human beings have this deep well for empathy, hope, and forgiveness.
Project Flowerbed by the MetaVRse team. Here it is, your moment of zen. Plant flowers and trees and water them until all your land is planted. Cultivating your flower bed is a relaxing experience to lose yourself in the mellow calm of virtual horticulture. And the Poly for Experience of the Year goes to Spatial Fusion by Phoria, Lusion, Meta, and Zelic Sound.
We're really happy. Thanks to all of the Phoria team, of course, Lusion, Zelig on the sound, and Meta, of course, for kind of being the driving force behind wanting to show off what's possible with plane tracking and color pass-through. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what other people do with this as well, now that it's freely accessible. You know, anyone with a headset can chuck it on and start building these pass-through experiences. And it's kind of a glimpse through to that final version of AR glasses that's been the dream for a decade now, of kind of, you can see everything in front of you, you can layer stuff on top. So it's an exciting time for trying out all of these new UX experiences and kind of all of the design that can go into mixed reality. Ollie?
Yeah, just have to echo Ben's sentiment. There's so much wonderful work that we're up against here. So very, very humbled, but you know, wanted to just give a big shout out to the team at Phoria, Lusion. You guys are amazing, and we're really, really excited to see how this technology sort of rolls out in the near future. So really, really humble.
Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for recognizing Spatial Fusion as Experience of the Year for this year's Polys. This would not have been possible without the incredible support from our partners and collaborators, Meta, Lusion, and Zelic Sound. You guys rock. And also tracking the analytics that we've seen so far online. We've reached more than 150,000 users that have engaged with the mixed reality experience over the web. I think this goes to show the maturity of WebXR and already the quick adoption and uplift in terms of mixed reality-based experiences. I can't wait to see what the next generation of creators and developers such as you guys and girls have in store. I look forward to tracking your success and watching the Polys and the WebXR ecosystem continue to grow. Thank you so much. All the best. See ya.
All right, that's our show. This has been the biggest collaboration yet. Thank you to ZeroSpace and Scatter for making our show the first award show that was both shot on an LED and volumetric streamed. Thanks to Nowhere for hosting our VIP event. And to the Looking Glass Factory for allowing us to present the Poly Trophy as a hologram.
Thanks to our presenting partners, Power Simple, MetaVRse 3-Pound XR, VArtisans, Virtual Reality Marketing, and Cozzi Christie Immersive XR Design, and to Kira Benzing at Double I Studios for the beautiful tribute to Brittan Heller.
Congratulations to all our nominees and winners tonight, and thank you to our brilliant director, Jenna Lambert, who synchronized this whole operation. Here's to you, Jenna. And to the Poly's creator and producer, Ben Irwin.
Finally, thank you to our audience. I'm Julie Smithson, and you've been watching the third Poly's WebXR Awards. We'll see you all next year. Good night.